Hey guys, it's Justin again with another video. This is going to be a new work in progress series. It's not going to be a one-off, start to finish type of deal like I like to do. It's going to be a little bit more of a series. I don't know how many episodes we're going to do. I'm just going to kind of take it as I go and try to document my progress as best I can, so that it's useful information to you guys and you guys can see the process a little bit better. This is going to be a build-off with a friend of mine. He goes by the username Joey on YouTube and on Instagram and other social media platforms. Really cool guy. He messages me every so often. We've got to become really good friends. So he kind of kicked around the idea of doing a collaboration, and we kind of kicked a few ideas back and forth, and we ended up landing on doing the Master Grade Kyrios. So here's mine. It's all snapped up, and right now it's currently in pieces, but it is assembled, it's cleaned up, it looks, well, I don't want to say it looks as good as it's going to look, but hopefully we got all the nub marks and stuff like that. There's not a ton of seam lines on this kit, which kind of surprised me. The weapons will need a little bit of love, but there's a little bit of modular stuff going on. I really like this kit, and I might actually, for the first time probably ever, transform this kit as well. But the idea is we're going to kick this kit to the next level a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of scribing, we're going to do a little bit of custom paint work, we're going to modify things a little bit. And that's what this video is I'm going to kind of explain the project overall, and then I'm going to show you my planning process. So there's not really going to be a whole lot of actual modeling going on in this video, again, because this is already built, but I do want to walk you through the steps that I go through when I'm planning out a project like this, so that you guys can maybe see the way that I approach doing something like this. So let's go ahead and jump into, I guess, what is going to be narration. So see you guys in a second.
Alright guys, so what I like to do after I've snapped my model kit up, if I plan on doing any kind of extensive modifications or anything to my kit, like I'm doing with this, that's a little unnecessary, I like to just hang a simple backdrop, usually something clean without any texture, too much texture, just a couple lights, nothing crazy, and I'll take a few pictures of the kit. So here's a simple front, a close-up. I think I was playing with the exposure here a little bit, just trying to make sure I could get my brightness levels right, make sure there wasn't a ton of reflection, but I start taking pictures around areas, a little bit of close-up. This isn't like a photo shoot, so I just want to make sure that I'm getting difficult to see faces. So with this one, I was really trying to make sure that I honed in right here. Again, I wanted to make sure I got the knees, the rocket launchers. This one, there is absolutely nothing going on these particular pieces here. The inside of the leg is a little boring, but it's not too bad. Top down, so we can see like the top of this part, the tops of these, a little bit of the shoulders. They're not as important here. You could maybe use this as reference for the head. The back skirt is criminally under detailed, so you can see I adjusted my lights for that one. I don't know what was going on here, but fixed the lighting, and we have a much clearer picture, so we're going to use that one. The back of the arm, again, back of the skirt, back of the shoulder, back of the leg, which this one is almost worthless. You could use this for like the back of the foot, I guess, but again, that little binder piece, close up of the head and the face. This is like center of the shoulder. You know, you get the idea. You want to take a lot of reference photos of your model. Make sure that you're highlighting the areas that you want to create extra detail. So this for me is kind of like where I will start laying the groundwork for what I want to do with the kit. So I've gone through, I've done a bunch of stuff. So now what I like to do, and what I've done here, and I'm just going to show you that you don't need an expensive painting tool. You don't need Photoshop. You don't need anything crazy. I, on my original pass, used Clip Studio Paint because I own it. But if you don't have that, MS Paint will work just fine. So all you gotta do is drag your picture in there, and this is gigantic. So we're gonna go ahead and scale that down just a little bit. We're gonna use the back skirt as an example, just because it has the most surface. Now, the one disadvantage to using Paint is that they don't have layers, but you can download, there's GIMP, that's free. I think paint.net is also free. There's a couple other free photo manipulation tools out there that you can use that all you need is something that can draw lines. That's it. So again, in Paint, we're just going to start plotting out our lines, think about what we want, where we want things, where we want to put our emphasis on details. So for me, this is kind of a difficult piece to start with because of its shape. Like if this little thing wasn't here, maybe it wouldn't be as difficult. And if they didn't already have cutouts, it might be a little easier. But because of that, I'm going to start with this edge right here. So one thing you can do is you can kind of grab and draw a line like right here. And what that's going to do is kind of create the illusion that this bottom strip down here is kind of like its own thing. And then you can kind of break that up as you see fit later. But right now, just go ahead and drop in some lines and create that effect. Now down here, I'm gonna do something like that, and it just kind of completes the look. So this is going to kind of push into this little vent thing here, and then we've got these little clippy boys. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of grab like close to the bottom of those and just kind of draw a line between them. You know, Tim, Child of Mecha, has a great kind of philosophy on this, and it's kind of imagine what's underneath the armor. And with master grades, a lot of times, not necessarily the skirts, but some of the armor and stuff that you're going to be scribing over, if you take that armor off, there's detail underneath. So it's relatively simple to just take the piece off, look at what's underneath, figure out what it is, and build your scribing around that. So this is a pretty good start for me personally. I think now what I like to do is I'm going to take this large, where this is just essentially one large piece, I'm going to split this up some. So let's like grab these little corners and just separate the corners. And then where this face over here is smaller, we can just kind of leave that alone. I'm not too worried about that. And then down here, I think I want this to kind of look like it clips in here. So we're going to cut this down here, and then I'm going to like do an accent line here. Now, I also want to, before we jump too far into this, I'm going to say that this is not in any way indicative of what I've already come up with. I'm just kind of giving you an idea on how I design my lines, and then what I do, the process I go through, and then what you can do yourself without spending any money on programs that you don't already own. This doesn't look great. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it gets the job done. It kind of gets an idea across. So from here, what I would do is I don't want there to just be a line that kind of exists in the middle for no reason. So I'm going to bring this up. Oop. Thanks, Paint. And then maybe bring it across. And then bring it down. And then, again, it doesn't look great, but you see what I'm going for here. So now, it looks like this little cover piece can be easily removed to clean this vent here, or to replace the vent if something happens. If there's any damage or anything like that, this little piece will just pop off. Now this, to me, reads as a lock of some sort, so maybe it locks down this whole armor panel. Maybe it does something else. Now if you want to, you can break this panel off, or you can break it down here. There's not really a right or wrong answer. You could kind of do like this, and then like maybe mirror that shape, and then pull that into this. That doesn't look too bad. I actually kind of like that. But then you're left with like a really weird shape over here. This looks good, but this doesn't really look great. So just play with it back and forth. Do a lot of back and forth. Look at what your shapes look like. Think about how easy it's going to be to create this, and then you have to remember if it's like a skirt like this, you're going to have to duplicate it the opposite direction. You know, play around. This is the not permanent form of this. This is the planning stage. This is also a really quick, rough, you know, example of how to go about that. So once I've kind of come up with some ideas, here's my back skirt design. Let me rotate this. So there's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to put in like a little notch here. Like I said, I've got this little belt detail that goes around. I actually tied that into this, and then I used the same principle here, except I've got like a middle plate, something that's going to lock that in place, and then these two edge brackets here that are going to kind of ultimately hold everything down. Up here I've got this, and then this little latch and this latch are what holds this down, and then we've got just a border detail. For the front of the ankle armor, we've got I divided it up into like a middle section, which I might bring this line here up some more, but we've got a big middle section, we've got a top section, bottom sections, and then the sides. That's just kind of the way my brain divided it up. I think it looks cool, so I think that's what I'm gonna run with, something along the lines of this. The top of the chest is probably my favorite part. It's just I use leading lines here, so to me this goes forward, so I wanted a lot of forward lines. So I broke up the top and the sides so that I have these sharp angles isolated to themselves, and then I have a large flat panel. If you're, for me anyway, if you're struggling to come up with lines and create your own panel lines and stuff like that, the easiest thing that you can do is follow the edges around bevels and stuff like that. So I followed this line here, and then once I decided that this was the area that I was going to scribe these lines, I broke the line somewhere along the, along that line. So probably a little more than halfway. I created a step in the line. So this, I made a secondary line that also follows that edge, but farther into the middle. And then these are going to be like photo etch parts, I think, or maybe up here, little notches. And then I sectioned off the entire back. So it's like there's a frame part underneath. There's this armor panel here that is slightly recessed. These will like kind of sit on, and then this locks the entire thing to the body. You don't have to think about it this in depth. I'm just trying to give you some ideas here. On the shoulder here, I like the detail that exists, but I think I just wanted to connect some of these lines, so I drew one here. Probably going to do one like right here, and then broke that into 3 panels. Maybe it's like easy access to the shoulder. I don't know. The cockpit hatch is pretty cool. I went through a couple iterations of this. One of them was really funny. The skirts, I'm not totally sold on this part right here. I love this part down here at the bottom, but up here is where I struggled the most. So I'll probably revisit this and mess with it a little more. This looks good to me. I'm happy with that. Over here is good. And that's pretty much all I've got so far. So I really try to go over areas that I think are going to be the most difficult and areas that I think are going to grab the most attention straight out the gate, and then I'll kind of plan further, you know, as I go. So that's my first video for this. I think in the next video we're going to actually start scribing some of these designs, and I can say, spoiler alert, we're going to start with probably this piece right here, and I'm kind of entertaining the idea of doing this. We'll see. But hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you are interested in picking up this model or other models like it, you can check out our channel sponsor, Mechawarehouse. Use our code Justinius10 to save 10% off your order. If you wish to support the channel, there are a variety of ways to do so, linked down in the description below. Please go follow Joey. He's going to be building the exact same kit. So if you want to follow his progress and see how he's doing, cheer him along, please feel free to follow him as well. He's a great guy. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Later.